I'm just telling you that personally, I was low-key not that impressed by the Kindle Colorsoft, and I spent $300 on it, so you know, I think I'll just be returning it. Hi Slayers, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eileen, and in today's video, I'm very excited to be talking to you about the new Kindle Colorsoft and why I will be ultimately returning it. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of this Kindle, and I'm going to be talking about who this Kindle might be good for, and then I'm going to be talking about the competitor that I have chosen over the Kindle and the pros and cons of that e-reader. First, I want to say that I have been in the Kindle ecosystem for about 5 years now. I used this good old Kindle paperwhite, and I used it since 8th grade, where I bought it because I used to sit alone at lunch and I needed to read books to keep myself entertained, and this was the most inconspicuous way to do it. So good for me. I was really on my reading grind, just less on the social grind. And yeah, I've carried this thing around with me everywhere. It's full of scratches, and it's like just the base model paperwhite, still has ads on it, which I really feel like a Kindle paperwhite is a great way to go. It's black and white. It worked for me. It's waterproof. I love it. I've never filled up the space on it, but that being said, I did want to try something new. So I did get the Kindle Colorsoft when it launched, and let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons of it. So pros, it obviously has color e-ink, which is very cool. It means I can highlight in different colors, which I really like. But that being said, color e-ink is not the same as like a tablet. It's going to look much more washed out, and that's fine because a Kindle is not supposed to be like an addicting device. So a good pro of that is obviously the color. And also, in comparison to other e-readers, I've noticed the black and white contrast is much better than something like the Kobo. So I think that that's a win. That being said, there is a big issue with it that has been circulating. It's the reason why the reviews are so bad right now, and it's because there's this weird color banding on the bottom of the screen that makes it look yellowish. And it's just like, on the bottom of the screen, there's a yellow like defect, and it's in so many of these Kindles that like, I'm pretty sure it's in all of them. I'm paying a good amount of money for this e-reader, and I don't really want it to look like it's stained. In my opinion, when I was reading with it, I was like, I really like the contrast, but then I would look down and I would just see like this staining of it, so that's a pretty big con. So hopefully they can get that fixed, but if it's something you can look past, I mean, it really doesn't bother me too much. It's just like, knowing how much I paid for it, it's a little disappointing. But there's a reason that Kindles are sort of king in this e-reading world, and I really like all of these features that I'm about to list. It's waterproof, you have the warm light setting, it has really good battery life and really good storage, especially because this like Colorsoft is sort of their like flagship signature model. So it comes with the max 32 gigabytes of storage. It's also wirelessly charging, which is really cool. And this is a small thing, but I like that you can pinch to zoom to change the font size when you're reading. And then being in the Kindle ecosystem and having access to Kindle Unlimited, which is a cool subscription where you get a lot of books for it. Personally, I'm not a Kindle Unlimited fan or user. I just felt like I wasn't always finding the books that I wanted, so I don't use it, but it's also connected with Audible, which I do use, and I really like. So like the Audible books will show up on your Kindle, but at the same time I can use Audible on my phone, and I don't think I'd ever like connect my headphones to my e-reader just to listen to Audible. You can though, so that's a pro. But then let's go ahead and talk about the cons, which ultimately for me or some deal breakers. So first of all, we talked about that yellow banding on the display. Now this Kindle is $300, and that's a lot of money to be spending on something that's pretty much defective. Like, I don't even know if I'd spend $300 on myself because I know I'm defective. So like, you know, we have to put it in perspective here. The other thing is the price. It's $279. And I understand that this is their flagship model, but let's compare that to a couple of other e-readers. So the Kobo Color retails for about $150, and it's color. It has less storage than the Kindle, and I can't speak to like any specific differences because I've never actually owned the specific Kobo Color, but it's a lot cheaper than the Kindle is. And then compared to the Kobo Color Libra, which we'll get into later, it's roughly about the same price. The Kobo Color Libra on its own is $220, so cheaper than the Kindle still, but it has buttons, physical buttons, which leads me to my next point. The Kindle doesn't have physical buttons. Like I said, I grew up like with the paperwhite, so I've never really like felt the need for physical buttons, but since using an e-reader that does have physical buttons, I didn't know what I was missing. I just find it so much easier to hold. I don't have to constantly pick up my thumb to press on the screen. I can just hold it over the button, and I just find it like a lot more ergonomic. I don't have to constantly be worrying about accidentally touching the screen. And in addition to this button issue, the only button it does have is the power button, and it's located at the bottom of the Kindle. So if you're laying down to rest, you're going to be pressing that button and accidentally turning it off to sleep, and I've done that so many freaking times in my life that it is actually so annoying. That being said, you can get a case for it, which I definitely recommend because it's a little easily scratched as well, and then it should like elevate it enough that you're not constantly clicking the button to turn it off. But, you know, that could be fixed in design pretty easily. Just saying. But that being said, let's talk about who this e-reader would be good for. If you are a highlight girly, I would recommend this. If you just love highlighting your books, you're not annotating really, you're mostly just highlighting, and you want to color code your highlights like they're tabs on a book, I think this is really fun. Especially if you like Kindle Unlimited, because you can't really get that on another device. I find that this is a good fit for you, and it's the only option for a Kindle Color if you want to stay in the Kindle ecosystem. Potentially, if you did want to move away from the Kindle ecosystem, but you really love Kindle Unlimited, you can get a e-reader tablet that runs Android OS, and then you can download the Kindle app on it and use it that way. I also think this is good if you're coming from a Kindle Basic or a Kindle Paperwhite and you really love Kindle and you just want to stick to something you know. Everything was super easy to use and very much the same as the Kindle Paperwhite, and it felt like a very nice upgrade to have the color screen. It makes me happy to see all my books in color. It's just like something that's a small feeling, but in reality like changes the user experience for the better. I did ultimately find the Kindle fine for reading and fine for graphic novels. I did read Heartstopper on it. It wasn't anything that super impressed me, and there was a small little thing that I kind of didn't love about the highlighting situation, is that you have to like click twice to highlight on something instead of in the Kobo system where you can just click once and pick the color. And there's just a couple of small things like that that I was not really in love with. Now, I do totally understand people who are in love with the Kindles and love Kindle Unlimited, and there is definitely a certain culture about being a Kindle girly that I admire, and I was one for so long, but let's go ahead and talk about what I decided to keep instead. So this is the Kobo Color Libra. And as you can see, it comes with a stylus, which means you can annotate on it. And that is really why I wanted to keep this one and not the Kindle Color, because there's no stylus for the Kindle Color. You cannot annotate on your books. And here, I can annotate in color. So other than that obvious pro, let's go over a couple more pros and cons of the Kobo Color Libra and compare it to the Kindle Colorsoft. So real quick, let's talk about pricing. The Kindle Colorsoft is $279. The Kobo Libra Color without the stylus is $220. With the stylus, which I believe was $80, puts it at around $300. So both of these are pretty much hitting the $300 mark. It does make the Kindle Soft a little bit cheaper, but not by a ton. Okay, so the other pro of the Kobo is these page turning buttons, and like I said, I found it just a lot better for me to read with an e-reader that has these physical page turn buttons. I've never used one before, but now that I have, my thumb rests perfectly on the page turn button, and I literally don't have to pick up my thumb to turn the page. And you can solve this with the Kindle by maybe getting one of those remotes that you can like click the button from your bed, but for just whipping it out in public, I mean, for just taking it out in public, the Kobo wins to just like automatically have the buttons built in, and it's something that Kindle discontinued. And also, just like the Kindle, the pros of the Kobo are it has really long battery life and it's also waterproof, so there's really like not too much of a difference there. I also noticed very specifically, I was reading a PDF of Heartstopper on both the Kindle and the Kobo, and the refresh rate for this graphic novel was noticeably faster on the Kobo. Every time I would do it on the Kindle, it would like flash to the black screen like it was resetting the whole page, even though I had that setting turned off. And then of course I was looking at it on the Kindle and I was seeing like that ugly yellow banding, and I was just kind of like, let me put this down. And then a small like UI thing, like the way that the Kindle has the pinch to zoom for font, the Kobo has left side brightness control, and you can just toggle it up and down, which I really like. And also interesting to note on the Kobo, it has a lot more like connectivity to send different things to devices. It has the app Overdrive built in, which is a library sharing app, so you can just borrow a book right there on your Kobo, which is really cool. And also it has Google Drive connectivity, so I can just upload a book to Google Drive instead of like uploading it to send my Kindle on Amazon. And it kind of works the same, so it's more of like a, they're both pretty neck and neck there. But I do appreciate that, you know, there's a couple of options to send books to my Kobo. But then moving on to the cons of the Kobo, the contrast is noticeably worse than the Kindle. I don't know why, and if you're someone that really needs high contrast when you're reading, and I totally get that, the Kobo might not be for you. And then another con is that the Kobo does not have wireless charging, so that kind of sucks. I personally didn't use wireless charging, but you know. And then lastly, like, I feel compared to the Kindle, the design looks a little different. Like, it's definitely a little clunkier looking. Personally, I really like it. I really like the white of it. The Kindle doesn't come in white, but it is different. It's definitely not like a Kindle, like recognizable in that like form factor. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, a little bit more square, and so like it's not super portable, but it's also very light, about the same lightness as the Kindle, and so I don't really notice a huge difference. I do wish that there was a pen loop built in for the Kobo, but the pen is sort of magnetic and it kind of sticks to it. I don't think it's meant to be stuck to it. You know, it is what it is. I really like the option to annotate my books. I think it's so fun. I am like a book marker upper, and I understand that a lot of people are not, but that is like my little thing. So I really think they're cute annotations. That being said, I think it doesn't totally matter which one you buy and which one you don't. I think as long as you're reading and as long as you're enjoying yourself while reading and finding a way to bring books with you on the go, then that's the best e-reader for you. I'm just telling you that personally, I was low-key not that impressed by the Kindle Colorsoft, and I spent $300 on it, so, you know, I think I'll just be returning it. But that's my opinion, and you're welcome to have yours and leave yours in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I will see you all later. Bye!